You are listening to Comic Reflections, episode 239. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Kryptonite Man, Jeff Barnhart.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhouse. You can find our show and other nifty content at theouthousers.com. And if you enjoyed this program, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Superman time.
Yep.
Yes. And the first issue we're going to talk about is Action Comics number 248, cover dated January of 1959. Cover art penciled by Kurt Swan and inked by Stan K. Let's talk about this cover.
Yeah. Superman's bursting out of his cage, and with this Nazi-looking guy in front of him.
With jodhpurs.
Yeah, I love jodhpurs.
Yeah.
I'd wear them every day if I could. Yeah. But if he's really if he has superpowers, why does he burst out of our escape-proof cage?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
There's also a small bubble or whatever on the panel advertising the Congorilla, the amazing man-ape, is introduced in this issue. And what it is Congo Bill is one of the backup stories in Action, and it has been since like 1939 or 40 or something like that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But Congo Bill is now, this is the introduction of a new kind of, a transformation with Congo Bill. There's a magic golden ring that he can rub and trade places with the Congorilla and put his brain in the gorilla body and the gorilla's mind in his body. So he can perform super feats as a golden gorilla.
No thanks.
Yeah. All right, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Did you know Congo Bill had his own movie serial?
I think I did.
Yeah, it was way before the Congorilla.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that have been wild, though?
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
I've read some Congorilla stories, and they're ridiculous and awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, the Superman story we're going to talk about is called The Man No Prison Could Hold. And it was written by Bill Finger, penciled by Wayne Boring, and inked by Stan K.
Yeah. Okay. Superman is flying around the planet, and he notices a teeny tiny satellite, and he follows the
orbit or the thread, yeah,
and finds out there's a slave workshop
on an island.
Yeah, and he is doing Project X, and he notices that the guy in charge is Von Camp, who is a Nazi baked bean entrepreneur.
Oh,
Van Camp.
A joke that barely works.
Yeah, indeed. Okay.
Sorry.
But he's up to something, and Superman wants to find out what it is. Well, you think it'd be an easier way to do that than what he does, which is, as Clark Kent, he gets a boat and gets captured by them, little knowing that Jimmy Olsen is a stowaway.
Yeah. What I thought was really dumb is he goes, does all this, overly complicated plan instead of just swooping down and kicking Nazi ass and making them tell him what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it would be a 2-page story, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, this goes on for a while. Go ahead.
So Clark Kent's captured and says, oh, crap, they're going to find that I have a Superman outfit. So he takes off he escapes, takes off his Superman outfit, puts it into a ball, and throws it up into outer space, and they'll come down in 3 hours, which is pretty good reckoning, I guess.
Yeah. He's a good reckoner, that Superman.
Yeah. So he's working, and they're busting rocks. And some scaffolding falls, and again on top of Jimmy, Superman saves him. But how'd you save me if you got this ball and chain around? And so Superman makes it into a hollow ball, which is odd, because why would there be a hollow ball? Because you buy a bunch of ball and chains, you notice one that was not filled.
Right. That is weird.
Mm-hmm. So, and then Van Camp comes, and he, what are you doing cheering? And so, get back to work, and you won't get fed until you finish all these rocks. So Superman goes off, gets all electrified, and comes back and zaps the rocks with electric power. Which, couldn't he use his X-ray version or something like that? Or, well, I guess he has to have a reason for these rocks to be smashed. So
yeah.
Oh well. So,
but wasn't I right? when I said, like, he could just go and smash up the whole operation. He doesn't have to be covert. It's not like he's Batman.
Right.
Which this plot would, well, except for all the super feats, but, like, having to sneak in is more Batman-y.
You're right.
I mean, like, if you know the guy's a Nazi and he's up to no good, you could totally just twist his arm and get him to tell you everything.
Yeah. Or tell the Coast Guard. They would like to know.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can go and do whatever else super stunts you want to do.
Yeah.
Van Camp is kind of clever because, this is odd. We got these two new guys and these weird things happen.
Yeah.
Which is...
Yeah, and Van Camp, like all Nazi war criminals, wears a monocle.
Yeah. And wears his medals and all that stuff. Which I would too. So Jimmy tries to escape, and Superman, I don't know, for some reason, if Jimmy escapes, Superman will never figure out the secret of Project X, which I don't understand. Why would that stop him from learning about it? Because he's worried about Jimmy or something? Or, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's weird.
So, he figures out a way to fool Jimmy's escape. So they're going to shoot Jimmy and Clark. And so Clark is being watched by a guard, which is kind of cool. They don't let him alone like they usually do, supervillains.
Yeah.
I don't know if Van Camp's a supervillain. He's villainous, but...
He's a villain. He's not a supervillain. Even though Nazis make great supervillains, Baron Strucker, the Red Skull, Baron Zemo, Baron Blood.
Yeah, usually they have super weapons and such.
Yeah, but this guy's just a guy with a monocle.
Yeah. So, Superman hypnotizes with some buttons and
yeah, that was super weird.
Yep.
Again, like, gosh, what an overly complicated plan.
Yeah.
With
Couldn't
everything.
He just bonked him or something.
Right.
Yeah. So, Jimmy's about to be shot. So Superman gets this lodestone magnetic ore, puts it underneath it, so all the rifles fall and the swords fall to the ground, and so does Van Camp's medals. And Van Camp figured, it must be a lodestone down here, which is fairly clever. That I would have never thought that. I thought I've been going crazy.
Right.
All right, so we find out. Hey,
here's something. Superman didn't want them to know he was Superman, so they wouldn't expose his identity, right?
Right.
Do these Nazis know Clark Kent from Adam? You know? Yeah, Jimmy's there.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But Superman could just say he was disguised as Clark.
But then you would think, wow, Superman does look like a lot like Clark. I wonder if Superman is Clark.
And then he'd come up another way to make it look like he wasn't. Yeah. But you see what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, Project X turns out to be a criminal eye in the sky. A satellite.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm just quoting it.
I know, it's funny. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the thing.
Oh, you're laughing with me.
I am.
Okay.
I really am this time.
Yeah. Okay. For once.
Right.
That's a kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
And so the satellite will see, we can figure out where the armored cars go from a bank, and so, you know.
Remember that story where Luthor had fashioned a radio in prison and he was listening on a crime radio band? Like,
yeah, man.
That reminds me of that.
Yeah.
I think that was one of those stories where he teamed up with the Legion of Supervillains from the future.
Yeah.
I think that was that story.
I think so. Okay, so they take Jimmy and put him in the blast chamber.
Yeah.
The rocket, which is sending the satellite up. And so Superman's got to save him. So he goes up and says, well, we got to make sure that Van Camp doesn't make another one when he gets out of prison so soon. Because he won't stay in prison very long, which is odd. And,
yeah.
You know, enslaving a bunch of people and making, you know, it's kind of, I think that'd be 20, 30 years, right? But
yeah, you would think.
So so Superman makes a kaleidoscope, so...
So why was that?
So when Van Camp gets out of prison, he'll know that his plan wouldn't work.
Oh, right. He'll think that it just was, yeah.
The cosmic rays would mess him up, and no one knows how to fix those.
So he'd think the satellite was a failure.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, it's so weird. Okay.
All right, so then Superman comes down and beats up everybody. So everything's cool.
And rescues the prisoners.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, on to Superman number 127, cover dated February of 1959, cover art penciled by Kurt Swan and inked by Stan K. Let's talk about this cover.
All right, we see Superman about to die, and Titano, the huge Super Ape, blasting with his eyes.
Just kryptonite vision.
Yeah, and Lois is trying to get Titano to put on these lead-lined sunglasses.
Right. Because that'll block the kryptonite.
Right. All right.
So yes, but the lead story in this issue is called "When There Was No Clark Kent," and the story was written by Jerry Coleman, penciled by Kurt Swan, and inked by Ray Burnley. This story explores a very interesting notion that I've brought up many times. Like, why does he need to be Clark? Can't he just be Superman?
Yeah, but they do it in a way that kind of cheats, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. It kind of like, oh, you went here and then you did something stupid with it. And I was thinking about this story earlier today, and I realized that you need Clark because everyone kind of goes along with whatever Superman says. And you need him to have these dual relationships with the people, like as Clark, because he's a regular guy. And they'll talk to him just like a regular person, and they'll argue, you know, or think less of him. But Superman, you're like, oh, okay, whatever you say,
okay,
you know.
Yeah. Oh, you got to turn the world upside down. All right.
Yeah, and so it allows. I mean, if he was Superman all the time, there's not a whole lot of story possibilities. He doesn't have any connections with real people. And I think that's why you need to have Clark. But anyway, let's talk about the story.
Okay, well, a faulty totem pole is what the fall. And
Happens all the time.
Yeah, and Clark has to run away as a coward, and then Superman comes back and sends it up in outer space. Why didn't he fix it or something? I don't know.
He could have just caught it. Why do you have to send it into space? That's weird.
Because it's cool.
With super breath.
All right, so, all right. In DC Comics, there exist these places that would not exist in real life.
Like a famous bottle works.
Yeah.
It makes crazy bottles.
Yeah. And they have this huge bottle on the top of the bottle could hold a big house.
Yeah, and it's a big greenhouse in a bottle with big handles.
Yeah.
Like it's a pitcher.
I mean, that's super cool, but it does not exist outside of DC Comics.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah. So Clark is checking it out, and this is really interesting. I'm really enjoying this. And
then there's an explosion in the bottle.
Right.
The greenhouse bottle.
Yeah. And Superman's, oh man, Clark's stuff, hat and suit is all messed up. And here comes Lois, and she's, oh no, Clark is dead. And so Superman says, well, Clark doesn't really exist, so that's okay.
Yeah, in his inner monologue.
This is actually the totem pole was kind of set up. This is, being Clark Kent's kind of a pain in the neck, but there's a good reason why I was alter ego, and here is why, and this is the story.
Yeah.
So
anyway, they have a funeral for Clark, and Superman's there and comforts Lois. And
he sees Jimmy, he says, I live with Clark Kent, but I need a roommate, so how about you? And here it goes bad.
Why would you have a roommate? Because now we have the opportunity to explore an idea of, Superman just being Superman and not having the pretense of living a dual life as Clark. And then you just have him go be a roommate with Jimmy out in the open, which is really dumb.
And he has the name tag on the apartment. Jimmy Olsen and Superman. Jimmy Olsen puts his name first.
Of course he does.
4-H. Did you notice that? The 4-H clubs?
Yeah, but 4-H is the apartment number.
Yeah.
And so, of course, they're mobbed by the public, people calling at all hours because Superman lives there. Because he's the most famous guy in the world.
Yeah. Even the janitor, hey, the furnace is out, can you help? Oh, man. And all these kids want stuff. And Superman doesn't mind, but it's a lot of hassle.
Yeah, I mean, really what this story is not is describing why we need to have Clark. It's like why Superman needs the Fortress of Solitude.
Right. Or needs not to tell people where he lives.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have lived in that apartment fine. Just don't tell Jim. Although, coming in and out, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
How do you... Although he can go the speed of light, though. So he can zoom. But even then, you're making... It can be too fast, or it would be a blur or something.
It would be noticeable. Something would happen. Shake the building or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like people know there's a Fortress of Solitude, but they don't know where it is.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's not on the subway line, so it's hard to get to.
It's hard to get to, and where it is, it's still hidden.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I do love the super circus in front. Get your super sandwiches here, and Superman balloons. And
would you buy a sandwich that some guy was holding unwrapped?
Is it unwrapped?
Yeah, it looks like a big baguette.
Yeah. If their hands are clean, and depends on how hungry I was.
Yeah, that's true.
The bad guys, hey, we know where he lives, so we'll get some of this kryptonite we've been saving and lower it down to his apartment building, and it hurts Superman. He jumps down. They let the kryptonite follow him because kryptonite will kill him because we land right next to him. But Superman jumps down and gets on top of a subway, and it takes him away from the kryptonite. That's kind of cool. All right, but Superman says, "Oh, this is a bad idea." So hey, there's a bottle floating in the ocean. That gives me an idea. So he concocts this thing that Clark was in this bottle and it blew in the ocean. And,
when the explosion happened, it sent him out to sea.
Right.
And then he sent back a message in the bottle like, "Oh, I'm marooned or something somewhere," which is preposterous.
Well, you would think they would. I mean, how far would it go out? And someone would see that or something.
Right. I mean, an explosion that would send a person intact out into the sea would have to be massive.
Yeah.
And it would totally kill the guy. But anyway,
yeah. Okay.
It totally falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay.
You want to talk about the next story?
Mm-hmm.
Please.
I enjoyed the hell out of that.
I did. It was a lot of fun. But
it's absurd.
Indeed. The next story is called "The Make-Believe Superman," written by Jerry Coleman, penciled by Wayne Boring, and inked by Stan Kay.
Yeah. Okay. A little boy has a problem. They have at school, bring your father in the costume of when he was a hero. And so these guys are coming as big game hunters and astronauts. And where do they live?
Right?
So
Ohio,
the father's embarrassed. And
because he just has a regular Joe Schmo job.
Right. I'm just an average American.
But he happens to bear a strong resemblance to Superman.
Yeah, so he's going to wear the Superman outfit. So, yeah, I'm really Superman. Then his wife says, it's going to be worse when they find out you're not. And says, yeah, you're right. Yeah, which is kind of cool. Then he has a bad idea. And then his wife says, no. And then, you're right. I like that part of it.
But he does it anyway.
Because right outside, and this is another DC comic world.
A giant robot starts robbing a bank.
So he goes out and tries to help. Clark Kent's there, and he's about to help, and Clark Kent is seized by the gangsters. And so they know that he's Superman's pal.
Yeah.
So, all right, so Clark Kent sees the fake Superman come out, and so Clark Kent destroys the robot, but I don't know, what does he do? He kicks something, or kicks a block of wood and knocks it over and destroys it.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, we're going to use, the bad guys say, we're going to use Clark Kent to make Superman find his buried treasure in the Hall of Planets.
Right. By holding Clark captive, they're going to make Superman do whatever they want, which is hilarious because, of course, Clark is Superman.
Right.
And this guy doesn't have powers, so how's he going to fool them and save Kent, because he doesn't know Kent is Superman.
Right. So here's another DC location that would not exist in the world. Hall of Planets. Well, I can see that.
Within a museum. Yeah. But the whole exhibit, the whole thing is just the Hall of Planets.
Yeah. And,
I mean, there's a planetarium. That's real.
Right. But inside is monsters that live on the other planets. And it's
right.
Jupiter
And the planets
animals.
which no people on Earth have ever visited that
Yeah.
aren't Superman or John Jones.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what we have...
Or Green Lantern, I guess.
Yeah. So the fake Superman has to plan and figure out strategies to find the treasure and fool those guys, and it keeps on doing it. And it goes on and on and on. And they're fairly clever.
Yeah.
Superman helps when he can.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's kind of fun.
It is really fun.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into any details.
Oh, it'll go on forever if we do that. But
Right.
they're crazy.
Yeah, but fun.
Yes.
So they finally found it in the Krypton room with the owl beast and the acid-dwelling crocodile of Krypton.
I love that.
Yeah, that's what they look. Yeah, it looks like a crocodile to me.
And the owl beast just looks like a big cat, like a tiger with an owl head.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay. So Clark was kind of ticked off at the fake Superman at first, but then he figured out he was doing trying to do good.
Yeah.
So then some kryptonite is around, and something happens. The power goes out. Then Superman, the real Superman, appears and solves everything.
Yeah. And then the Superman goes to the boys' school with the fake Superman and tells everybody what a great hero he was. Tells everybody what happened. And so the boys are even more proud of him than ever.
Yeah. Honorary Superman for a day in gratitude. That was a sweet story. I really liked it.
Yeah, no, it's neat. And what a nice Superman didn't have to do that. It was very gracious of him. And I think that might be his greatest superpower in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His compassion for other people.
Yeah. I think the greatest superpower, though, at least for supervillains, and I was thinking about this for last episode, is the superpower of getting out of death.
Yeah.
Because, and that's useful. Just,
Oh, you mean supervillains and like you think they're dead and they come back every time?
That superpower would be handy.
Yeah.
Man, I thought that degenerative heart disease would kill you. Nope.
I'm fine. Oh, that is funny. But no, it's totally true. Like supervillains, you think that they had to have died. Like
Right.
how could anybody get out of it?
Dr. Doom had to have died about 5 times.
Well, and the Red Skull too.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the ocean or buried under a mountain, but he made it. Like
Right.
why? Like he was too evil to die.
Yeah.
Which I like. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about the cover story. It's Titano, the Super Ape.
Mm-hmm.
And this was written by Otto Binder, penciled by Wayne Boring, and inked by Stan Kay. And this is a super duper classic.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Toto the ape.
It's a regular sized chimpanzee
Yeah.
who wears clothes and goes on television, waka waka waka.
Yeah, and he can add onto this big, oversized cash register, which is funny.
Yeah.
And he gets smacked in the back of the head by these guys throwing pies. He's really upset.
And Lois cleans him up.
Yeah.
And so now they're friends.
Yeah. I don't know. I love the fact
The expression on his face when he gets hit with a pie.
And he's dressed as in a vest. And
He looks like an
tie.
accountant.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, the chimpanzees, I think I only mentioned this before, are really the most vicious of all the apes, except for man.
Yeah,
But,
I wouldn't mess with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think baboons would be pretty intense. I wouldn't mess with them either.
Yeah, but the chimps are dangerous. They're like hippos. Oh, they're so cute and so deadly.
Hippos kill more human beings every year than any animal.
At least in Africa, yeah. I'm not sure. They may be that, but in Africa, they're the most dangerous animal.
Yeah.
Or most deadly, which is amazing because they're so cute.
I know, right? You think of hungry hippos, that,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, they're adorable.
Mhm.
I saw a baby hippo, like a pygmy hippo,
Yeah.
on like a YouTube video or something, and it was the most adorable thing in the world.
Yeah, no, they're cool, and chimpanzees are funny, and I love Lancelot Link, and
Lancelot Link, that was a TV show, right?
Yeah, and these apes, and then they're moving their mouths and people talking and all this.
Yeah. We also read Detective Chimp. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another crazy DC comic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. There's crazy and there's DC crazy.
Yeah, because these Marvel comics are pretty crazy too, but they're like totally like everyday normal compared to the crazy stuff that happens in DC.
And it's happening over a veneer of
realism.
Solid citizen. This and DC is. It's boring, solid,
square people, and then insane things happen.
Yeah,
like just nuts stuff.
Okay.
Marvel, it seems less crazy because the characters are portrayed so realistically, like they have real problems and stuff, and their emotions and the way they interact seems real. But then there's like, you're buried in a tube surrounded by acid, like the Fantastic Four were on our last episode.
Yeah, okay, that's crazy, but it's not DC crazy.
You're right.
All right.
Because it's not a chimp going into outer space and getting hit with kryptonite radiation and becoming a giant ape.
Yeah. Okay. So they...
Spoilers.
Yeah. So they send a chimp out, and he's a
television ape. He's not trained like at Houston or whatever to go to outer space.
And they were really cruel to them too.
At
least the first one. Because they had to do it really quick, so they used electric nodes and all that stuff.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, but later on they were nicer, but they had no choice. You want to beat the commies, you got to do it. So,
they already got a dog in space before us, but the dog died.
Yeah, I heard that. Oh, all right. So the chimp goes on outer space and gets hit by the two most common elements in DC Comics: uranium and kryptonite.
Yes.
At the same time.
Which is great because then it's radioactive stuff and kryptonite stuff. So, of course, it makes him huge and gives him kryptonite vision.
All right. And this is Titano is an interesting character because he is not a villain. He is an adversary because he's nice, but he's big and clumsy.
He's a misfit of science, and it creates a problem that Superman has to solve. And I like it because this is a real... So you need Superman for this.
Yeah. But Superman is powerless because of this big, huge ape has kryptonite vision. So
yeah.
All right. So he tears up a bunch of stuff, but he's not really hurting anything or people yet.
Yeah.
But the army's going to kill him.
Right. But Lois says, "Wait, don't kill him. I've got a plan."
Yeah. So they trap him in this huge cage. Then Lois says, "Oh, give me all this stuff here in this list, a big one and a small one." So, all right, so
monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah. Lois will hit a small drum, and Titano hit the big drum, and then it goes on. Then Lois put on these sunshades, and Titano puts on the sunshades that are actually lead lined, so it blocks out the kryptonite. So Superman can send them back into prehistoric time.
Yeah, through the time barrier.
Yeah,
and so. He's happy just in a time with other creatures the same size.
Yeah, he's swinging a vine over a happy-looking Allosaurus.
The Allosaurus is happy because he's going to have a big monkey to eat very soon.
Maybe.
Because they think Titano would be happy in the past. It's like, no, you're putting him in a place with giant predators. Think about a man comparative size and a velociraptor. The velociraptor is going to kill you. Allosaur and ape. Allosaur is going to eat the ape.
Although Titano is larger than any dinosaur.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dinosaur. Titano is about 4 stories tall, I think.
Okay, I didn't really.
And a dinosaur, T-Rex is about 2 stories tall.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's he seems
a 3-foot dinosaur could still kill a person. If you think about it that way.
That's true too. But a big ape can beat the crap out of it. So
maybe.
I mean,
but it's still not going to be like awesome, to live in a time.
Hey, Superman's vision says he's having a good time. So I trust Superman's vision as opposed to your fake, stupid science.
Okay, well.
All right.
Well, belief wins out of over science again.
Yeah, as it should.
Wow. But on to Action Comics number 249, cover dated February 1959. Cover art, penciled by Kurt Swan and inked by Stan K. Talk about this cover. Lex Luthor wearing jodhpurs.
Yes. And Superman in a lead-lined costume turning into glass.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
What's going on? We'll find out in The Kryptonite Man, written by Otto Binder and penciled and inked by Al Plastino.
Oh, the splash page is even better because here we got Lex Luthor. He's in his regular
Scientist's lab coat.
Yeah, and he's got a vibra gun and an ultra ray beside him.
Yeah, and he's giving off this crazy glow.
Okay, Lex Luthor is in his lab with his goons, which we never see again.
Yeah, well, he's got to be talking to somebody.
Right, he can't be talking to the monkey, which he has given the kryptonite serum, and the monkey turns glowing green, so that means he is
Infused with kryptonite, and it's fine.
Right.
So then Luthor drinks the serum too, and he starts to glow green and emanate kryptonite radiation. What's the worst that could happen?
Right.
Melanoma?
Yeah. So Lex goes into his rocket plane and goes and destroys Superman's statue.
Which is great. His rocket plane has a battering ram on the end of it, so that he can.
It's just absurd.
It is, and he knocks the head off the statue first, and then destroys the rest of it.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, folks, Lex Luthor hates Superman.
Yeah, it's actually his biggest weakness.
Yeah, because Luthor, if his energies were directed somewhere else, he could be a titan of industry. He could cure cancer. He could be as great a hero as Superman.
He could be president. Oh,
yeah.
Oops.
Well, he was,
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. But you know what I mean, though. So he challenges Superman to meet him or whatever.
Yep. And then he takes off his clothing. Oh, he's got kryptonite rays coming out of him, and Superman's got to run. And he chases Superman.
Yeah.
And Superman's got to go underneath the ground and all that stuff. So
yeah, like, what am I going to do? How can I catch Luthor when I'm not immune to kryptonite?
Right. Okay, so Luthor goes back to his lab. His goons tell him, hey, the monkey's gone. And it's, oh, I can save this antidote then. So,
yeah.
He hasn't tested the antidote either, which is odd. I would have...
Right?
Yeah. I want to make sure. You don't know what's going to go. So, all right. So there's nothing important going on in the world, so Clark goes to the zoo because of getting in a new shipment of monkeys. Okay. However, the kryptonite monkey shows up.
Right.
And Clark is knocked to the ground.
Yeah.
And he has to do this. He's about to die, so he sees this kid with a banana, and he blows the banana out of the kid's hand and goes into a lead pipe. The monkey goes in the lead pipe, and Superman is saved.
Yeah.
All right. So Superman goes to the Fortress of Solitude, which he should have done beforehand besides going to Monkey World.
Look at the key. It's not the big marker. And I realize it's Al Plastino is the one who's not drawing it correctly. And I was just reading an interview with Al Plastino, and he was saying, like, when Mort Weisinger would come to him with changes or be overbearing, like, he would tell him off, and Mort would actually leave him alone, and he respected him.
Okay.
So that's why continually Al Plastino doesn't draw the key correctly. It just looks like a regular old-fashioned key, but big.
I would think the big one would be easier to draw.
Well, he's just drawing a key. He's not looking at the other stories for reference, is the point.
Yeah, which is odd.
It is odd, because Mort Weisinger and like any other editor would say, no, we didn't need to have consistency here.
Yeah.
But I think he just eased up on this aspect.
Okay. So Clark checks out the Lex Luthor room, which is great. I've
Yeah.
never seen this before. I didn't know this existed.
Oh, didn't you?
Yeah. So there's a money magnet, vault blaster, atomic death ray, and a bust. Oh, an earthquake maker, and a bust of Luthor.
Okay.
That's cool. Superman gets into a lead suit, comes out, and Luthor sends up a satellite that turns all the lead into glass in the world. And that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, like, wow.
Oh gosh, the lead sinker on my fishing line turned into glass. Hey, I can see through my bullets. You know,
That would change the world. I mean, like...
Yeah, because lead is a useful product.
Yeah, and also, so lead would become more precious than gold, since it now doesn't exist on Earth.
True. So,
Luthor's real plan would be to have a supply of lead and turn all the... A smart plan would be and turn all the rest of the world's lead into glass, and so that he can control that and make a fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't do that.
Oh, well.
Because he's too busy trying to kill Superman.
Right. Superman goes to the moon, or somewhere, and,
Outer space.
yeah. And he finds some lead, and he makes a new suit with TV
Inside
system, yeah.
So that he can pick up a reception and see what's going on the outside. But this suit will protect him from kryptonite radiation.
Yeah.
So he goes into space with the suit and kicks the satellite, turning lead into glass out in orbit. And then he goes to confront Luthor.
And Luthor's not worried.
But the thing is, why did he have to go to these great lengths? Couldn't he have sent the Superman robots to do that? Could have sent the robot to destroy the
satellite. Have you seen a robot yet?
I
thought so too.
And I'm pretty sure that they'd been introduced by this time, but maybe not.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you just send a robot to get rid of the satellite, and the robot to go kick Luthor's butt, take him to jail?
Yeah.
Make him take the antidote, whatever.
Right. So Superman in his outfit comes down. Lex shoots him with a bazooka.
Destroys the lead armor.
Yeah, and doesn't fall down. And Lex says, "You've already made yourself immune to kryptonite." Crap.
So I'll take this antidote since it won't do any good, being kryptonite, because the glow would betray him because he's on the lam.
Yeah, and he couldn't hide in the dark.
Right, and so Superman has tricked Luthor into taking the antidote and therefore making it okay for him to nab him. Really, it was just a puppet that Jimmy had on strings from the flying newsroom, which would have made a lot of noise.
Yeah,
it's a helicopter.
Even if you're way up in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But Luthor goes back to jail.
Man of Lead defeats Kryptonite Man.
Which is the headline of the Daily Planet the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a problem. They put Luthor in the prison, and Luthor figures out the scam.
Yeah.
All right, so I thought he did it that way so Luthor wouldn't use kryptonite again. But now he can use kryptonite. All I gotta do is find some more kryptonite and become Kryptonite Man again.
But he doesn't.
Yeah.
Wow. He'll use kryptonite again, but yeah. I wonder, there's a character, the Kryptonite Man, who comes into play later, but I don't know how he became the Kryptonite Man.
Yeah.
That's kind of a gap in my knowledge. But anyway, let's talk about the next issue and the next story. It's our last for this episode.
Yeah.
It's Action Comics number 250, cover dated March of 1959. Cover art by Kurt Swan, pencils, and Al Faustino, inking.
Okay.
Wait, let's talk about the cover.
Oh, Clark Kent is watching on TV Superman being hit by a bazooka.
Bazookas are great. They're great for hitting Superman in the chest and him not caring.
Yeah. All right, and he's on TV, and he's hooked up to a lie detector, and he's being grilled by a newsman.
Yeah, so the story that we're going to talk about is called The Eye of Metropolis, written by Bill Finger, penciled by Wayne Boring, and inked by Stan Kay. And this Edward R. Murrow type of investigative TV journalist is grilling Clark Kent. He thinks he's Superman, and he's going to prove it on live television.
Hey, he's being interviewed by MTV. Cool.
Metropolis Television.
Right.
But that's so funny.
Yeah. I guess it is Edward R. Murrow because he's smoking, and Edward R. Murrow was a chain smoker.
Yeah. But I'm assuming that's who it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Or someone like that. I think CBS Eye was an actual show. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so Clark is asked to be on the show, and he figures out that they're going to ask him about Superman, so he's ready for it. And he was going to look into their notes, and he couldn't because they're aligned with the left, which is hilarious. Okay, here's the second story.
You mean a subplot?
No. This is the second story of the
episode.
This episode where we do not have a villain. We have an adversary.
Okay. Right, he just has to get out of being caught as being Superman.
Mm-hmm.
There's no crimes being committed. I mean, there's examples of him solving crimes.
Yeah.
But or disasters and things.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah, and okay, the entire thing is, I don't think we need to go into it because they try to trick him on these questions, and and they're pretty clever in how they figure stuff. Lois is ticked off because they're going to prove he's Superman. And she's mad.
Why is she mad about that?
Because she is not proving he's Superman.
Oh. Okay.
And so Superman's got to, Clark has to explain all this, and the reporter doesn't like it, and he gives him a bunch of crap. So, hey, here's a picture you getting shot, and Superman, as Clark Kent, and Superman is not hurt by being shot. So so you must be Superman. Well, that was a trick gun from a movie. So
okay.
So actually, Clark shoots himself with the gun, and it doesn't happen because it's a blank.
Okay.
Oh, and he twirls a gun in his finger. That's hilarious. Oh, man. All right.
That is funny.
Okay. So we get a bunch more like that. I'm not going to go into them because it's hard to explain. So they put him on a lie detector, and lie detector is infallible. You cannot fake it. And of course you can.
Yeah.
And you think Superman can, and but the thing is, Superman doesn't lie.
Oh, so how's he gonna fool them? How's he gonna beat the lie detector?
Yeah. Well, he carries some kryptonite on him, and I think it's in his watch, so he loses his power. So when he says, "Do you have any superpowers?" He says, "No," and he's telling the truth.
Oh, because the kryptonite is temporarily suppressing his powers.
Right.
Okay.
You also remember the Superboy? Are you Superboy? So, I'm not Superboy anymore. I'm Superman.
Yeah. We did read that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it, right?
Yeah. It's this pretty cool. It's like a Columbo.
Yeah, or Dragnet or something.
No, Columbo. You know that in Columbo, which is a great TV show with Peter Falk. You know who did it. You know how he did it, but you don't know how the detective's going to figure it out. Here, you don't know how he's going to get out of it.
Yeah, and in Columbo, at least the ones that I've seen, it's not many, but Peter Falk is like, he knows who the murderer is. He's just got to he's got to catch him.
Yeah,
trip him up.
I think sometimes he doesn't, but then. Yeah, but most of the time he does.
But he finds a way. He asks some weird questions and just,
and
they think he's
the hell out of him.
He'd annoy them. They think he's a buffoon, but he'd get him mad or something, and they'd screw up, and he'd catch him.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah.
Love Peter Falk.
They're wonderful shows.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the TV movies later on. The original run was great.
Okay.
The later ones aren't that bad.
I'm referring to the TV movies because that's what I've seen.
Yeah, the earlier ones are better.
Okay.
So, so Superman gets out of it, and it's pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a fun. All these episodes. Some of them were kind of more absurd than others, but they're all fun.
Yeah, and, I picked apart, like, especially that one with the Nazi.
Yeah,
but that story was crazy and a lot of fun too. So,
if someone says you will be fated never to read anything but 50s era Supermans and nothing else, is okay.
Yeah,
I can live with that.
There are worse fates.
Yeah.
Because these comics are really neat. It's not like they're super boring.
Right. And how's he going to get out of it?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like,
and there's nothing like that in comics now. I don't think.
No.
Or any other.
No, and I wish comics did this now because this is fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't all have to be super heavy. Like everything's a drag.
Save all the world and they're going to get the divorce and
I'm like,
that's not that there's not a place for that, but there's a place for silly froth as well, and
whimsy. Whimsy is something that is sorely missing from comics these days,
and from popular culture. That's sort of, all the rock and roll and popular music. No one's making goofball songs hardly anymore, unless on YouTube.
Right.
There's no Monster Mash.
Right. Anything like that would be just somebody doing a song parody.
And Frank Sinatra of all people made the coffee song, which is hilarious. There's a billion cups of coffee in Brazil.
Oh, really?
There's no
Have you ever heard his song? Or it's this really long, epic thing about the future. Look it up.
I'll have to.
Okay.
But
Anyway, we should wrap this up.
Yeah, we should.
All right. Comic Reflections is recorded in Portland, Oregon, and produced by Sean Roof. Until next time.
I'll see you in the funny pages.